We're live. We are
Hi.
live. Hi, everybody. All right. So thanks for joining us. We'll give people a couple of minutes to hop on. It is Spa Biz Tip Tuesday. I'm Maxine Drake, coach and consultant for spa professionals. And today I'm super excited to introduce Liz Steffen, who I know you know who she is because she's been so present in our group, sharing her genius, sharing all kinds of marketing tips, and we just love her for that because we love when people share and give in the group. But before we dive into our topic today on client building and going over some simple strategies, I do have a couple of announcements you're going to love. Well, first, Florida. Do we have any Florida estheticians in the house? If so, put in the comment because I've decided to add a very last workshop, the Abundant Esthetician Workshop in Tampa on November 6th. That's going to be in the West Shore area. Very small group, and I like keeping the group small for a better learning experience. So we're going to cover all things marketing, branding, social media, strategy, all that good stuff. So that's love to have you. So that is the announcement number one. Announcement number two, Liz, are you excited? I'm so excited. I know. We were chatting for about 20 minutes before we went live today, and I just love Liz so much. But we have put together an aesthetic business summit happening in Hawaii for 2 days of learning next year, October 14th and 15th of 2018. It'll be on the beautiful island of Oahu. And I'll definitely drop in the landing page in the comments here. I'll probably do an extra post as well in the group so that you can get on the list, because wait till you see this lineup, which it does include my dear friend, Liz Steffen, and and Brooklyn Wood also will be there live with us sharing our genius and a few others. So you'll have to take a peek. So we're super excited about that. More shall be revealed, more details as far as the venue, the investment. And Liz and I were just talking about just how wonderful it is to go to these types of events to keep you on, you know, to keep you sharp, to keep you engaged, to always be learning and surround yourself with like-minded people that also want to build their business. So we're excited. All right, Liz. So here we go. Are you ready for today's topic?
I'm ready.
Because I'm super jazzed about any kind of, client building strategy, retention, those kinds of things. I think it's super needed in our industry. And we're going to go through 3 strategies today. And Liz Steffen, if you don't know her, let me just introduce her properly, because Liz Steffen is one of these remarkable women who is such an incredible leader in our industry. And by example, here she is in her own treatment room. She is a spa owner of Vanilla Sugar Face and Body. See, I got it right.
You did. Good job.
And, she still works in the treatment room and runs a spa. You have a team of what, 4?
4 plus me. So we've got 5 of us.
Yeah. So totally know how that goes. So when I was an owner working in the treatment room and running a business, I totally feel you, girl. And so just hats off to you for all that you do, all who you inspire, and thanks for being on with us today.
Well, thanks for having me today, Maxine.
Yay! So let's dig in. Okay, so tell us, give us the scoop on client building. First strategy.
Okay. So the thing with client building is it really takes, I like to see it as full circle. You can practice one technique, but then you can take it and wrap it around and use it in many different ways. For example, if you have a website, which I think everybody who has a business should have one, in my opinion, you can, you could put something on there that just says, hey, check out my Facebook reviews or check out my Google reviews. That's on your website, but then it takes you to another place. And that other place is a place of engagement for another person. And then they trust you because they saw that other people trust you. So this potential client that went to your website now can see this amazing review or multiple reviews, and then they come back to your website and they book an appointment. So you can have an amazing website, but you have to do so much more with it in order to get those clients to come in to see you.
Yeah. Yeah. So by having those reviews, I mean, that is definitely upping your credibility right there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So Maxine, you know, when I opened up my business 4 years ago, I didn't have any clients. Zero. 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 I didn't work. Zero. I didn't work at another salon. I didn't work at another spa. I didn't do any skincare in the town that I live in before I opened up my business. But I used social media. I professionally networked 4 to 6 hours a week for probably a year and a half to 2 years. So I was out on the streets, meeting people, engaging with people. I went to parties. I went to any kind of event that I could fit into my schedule. And I met people. I can't even go out in my town now and not run into somebody. I went out Friday night shopping. Friday night, 7 o'clock at night, and I ran into 2 people in 2 different stores.
That's it.
So for people who are just getting started, networking is inexpensive. And it's an amazing way to build not just people who can be potential clients, but your own sales force. Because now that all these people know what I do, and if somebody goes, hey, I need a Brazilian wax, do you know anybody? They're coming to me because they know me. And now they feel like they can trust me. And if they don't know me, but they heard about me, they go to my website and then they see more reviews and they come back to the website and book an appointment. So it becomes full circle.
Right. Do you find that like also in that 4 to 6 hours of networking that it built your own confidence, like talking in front of people? And
yes, it tremendously helps you to become a better communicator. And when you need to communicate what you do to other people, especially like in our industry, when you're talking to men, they kind of give you the deer in the headlights look when you talk about lash extensions and stuff like that. Yeah. So you have to find a way to communicate with both sexes, with the females and the males. Right. So, because males can be your clients, or they can send their daughters to you or their wives to you. And you have to know how to communicate to people, both male, female, extroverts, introverts. When I talk to an introvert, I kind of have to pull it back a little bit.
Not you.
Because I'm so passionate that I can just, I'm a little like aggressive to some people. And so I've learned through professional networking to kind of adapt to different environments.
Isn't that so? It's like the disc, right?
Yes.
The different people that actually and how they communicate, because not everyone is like like extrovert, like woo, or like too much in their face. If they're like more quiet, introverted, they're like, you're robbing my energy, kind of thing. So we really have to learn how to communicate with different types of people. And I think you're right. That definitely being out and about sharpens that skill like anything else. We have to do it.
Yeah. So, my recommendation for people that, who have the time or are just getting started, maybe they don't have a huge marketing budget right away, is to start with networking. It's practically free. You can go to a lot of free things, especially when it's a party. So if somebody invites you to a birthday party, their kid's birthday party, I used to go to all those things because I had time. Now my time is much more limited. I'm much more selective. But I remember I was sitting in a hockey rink. My son was taking ice skating lessons. And I ran into a woman whose husband was in a networking group with me. And I was working on a referral for him at that moment. I'm like, hey, I'm working on something for your husband. And she looks at me. She's like, oh, you got some business for us? I'm like, yeah, this is what I do. And so it's not all about what you're getting, it's how you can give to other people. And when you have that giver spirit, you are going to gain so much in return. So when you're out networking, don't go out there thinking it's all about you, because it's not. It comes full circle. If it's all about you, you know what? It's not going to benefit you in the end. You have to help other people.
Yeah, that's right. Nobody likes takers.
No. So networking, or go ahead.
Networking. I was going to say, tell us about your take on intake forms.
Oh,
I know. All right. Let me start the timer, because I know we can talk about this. I know.
Okay.
But,
everybody needs a client intake form. And I'm just going to get right to the point. On the intake form, you need full name, you need their home address, check the zip code, people, check their phone numbers, make sure everything matches. Get their email account, but then you have to ask permission to email them. So I recommend, would you like to receive exclusive specials by our e-newsletter? Specials, promotions, something like that. But here's the trick. You have to ask permission to email them, but you don't have to ask for permission to mail them. So you have two ways to market to your client. So even if they circle no on the email, you can still send them marketing material in the mail.
Right.
And those are some of the most important things. If you're really good at all that stuff, I recommend taking it a step further and then having on there who referred you to our business. Where do you work? What is your occupation? If somebody's a nurse, Nurse Appreciation Week is in the month of May. You can tag all of your clients in a lot of the scheduling software and just write nurse. Then you can run a report and say, hey, I'm going to run a report mid-April for Nurses Week in May. I'm going to run a report of who all my nurses are, and I'm going to send them a card in the mail with a promotion on there just for them to get them in the spa.
Yay. I like that.
And if you have like a new team member who maybe has a pretty empty book at that moment, do it specifically for them. Say, hey, for the nurses, come in for 25% off your next facial with Amanda, if that's her name.
Right.
So it doesn't even have to be with me, who may have a full book, but you can help build the book of somebody else in your business.
I like that too. And I used to do that as well, especially one person at a time, and try to funnel all the new clients and do specials just for that new service provider, so that they can start building up their confidence in their book of business as well. So I love that. Interesting about the tagging, because I don't know about you, but I know that when I was in practice, my nurses and my teachers, I had a ton of them. And same thing with teacher appreciation, right? And I mean, and it just depends where you live, like what industry is there, Washington, how many, maybe Microsoft, they don't really need deals. They can afford it. but it's still an appreciation of recognizing what they do. It doesn't necessarily have to be, a special.
Yeah. No, it doesn't. It can just be thank you for what you do. Veterans Day is coming up next month. And, as you know, Maxine, I am a Navy veteran, and I hold, I'm partnering up with a local place in town to donate a lot of my time and money and funds from the business to it. And I thought, maybe this year I'll actually send something to all my active duty military and veterans, that are on my client list. And just a thank you card that says, thank you for your service. You don't even have to have an offer in there. You're still showing appreciation for what they do. And you're sending them a card when probably nobody else is. Yeah. And I do that also for Valentine's Day. If I have single lady clients, I send them a Valentine's Day card.
Oh, see, it's that going that extra mile is really what Liz is sharing. It's like recognizing and showing that appreciation that that a lot of people are not taking that extra step to do. So just by doing that small gesture, think about how a person feels when they now open that card. You know, a single woman, you know, getting a Valentine's card. I mean, how special is that, right?
Yeah. And here's the thing, is that it all comes down to how you received their information when they come into your place of business on that client intake form. If you don't have their contact information, if you don't know what their occupation is, if you don't know if they're married, I mean, I look at my clients' hands. Are they wearing a wedding ring? You know, I send, yes, I do send thank you cards, Charlotte. Absolutely. Every time a new client comes in, they always get a thank you card right away. You know, and that's why you have to have that client intake form.
Yeah, cool. Okay, yeah, there's a lot of activity. We'll get to some of the questions here in a bit. But yeah, so client in the intake form. So what else? Is there anything else that, as far as like marketing, that you would have on the intake form, or specific questions?
My specific questions are occupation. I mean, I have all the, you know, medical history and all that kind of stuff. But as far as the business side of it goes, honestly, Maxine, it's their home address, their email, asking for permission. What service are they coming in for? Because we can tag them on that. Referral, that's it. I think that's it. I'm not sitting in front of my intake form.
You know, I'm always thinking like ahead too. So, you know, so let's just say they're coming in for a Brazilian and they're a new first-time client, right? And then you also have on the intake form, circle anything else that you're interested in. Oh, skincare. Oh, you know, so that you can do some cross-marketing later down the road, and you can also potentially tag, and you know that they haven't been in for, you know, that cross-marketing service yet, but you still have that ability to market to them. So even if you're reading the intake form and you're like, oh, I see that you're showing interest in skincare, you know, something along those lines, where you can now invite them back in to do some cross-marketing. And so I always found those questions to be helpful too, because it is marketing. At the end of the day, it's, you know, it's sales, right? Sales that we're bringing in.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
That's definitely like a very advanced technique. And I love it. And I actually cross-market all my services to my entire client list. But if you grow to a certain point where it becomes too expensive to do that, that's what's wonderful about having the tags. Then if somebody just comes in for waxing, but they've never purchased a facial before, you can market to all those people and offer them a special offer, but exclude the people who've already had a facial from you. So they don't get that offer. And you can do vice versa, like with waxing.
Right, right. So it's important, like what Liz is sharing too, about tagging. So you want to have your booking software, because I don't think not all booking software has that capability. So that tagging is going to save you a lot of time and money. And there's email clients that'll also do tagging for you, like Aweber and Active Campaign. And, you know, I think MailChimp now has tagging. So that's pretty, I think they just added that, but Brooke can probably verify that for me because she's my MailChimp girl. All right, so let's talk about number 2, which is the immediate follow-up. So tell us a little bit about.
Yeah, the immediate follow-up is we have a 2-step process. The first one is if they circle yes for our email newsletter, we actually send them an email that offers them an additional special for coming back in to see us. The crazy thing is a lot of people don't even open up that email, so they don't see it. But some people do see it, and they'll use that offer. It's like $10 off your next service over $50 with us. But we send a handwritten thank you card. And I actually purchase my thank you cards from Target. I get like 50 cards for $11 or $12. And we go through them like crazy. I mean, I buy like a couple hundred at a time, you know, well, I get 50 at a time. So, I mean, I buy like 500 at a time. But you can have them printed up by your local printer as well. But we get that in the mail within about 2 days of them coming in to see us. And one of the tips that I used to do, I don't do it anymore, is if they did not rebook with us, we would write in the card, please enjoy $10 off your next service with us if you use it by this date, to encourage them to rebook.
Nice. And I like how that call to action has a sense of urgency to it. So if you're going to do something like that, which is brilliant, having that end date in there will just get that client to take action sooner rather than later.
Yeah. Absolutely. So that's the immediate follow-up that we do. We do the email, we sign them up on our email list, and then we send that thank you card. Now, if they filled out that somebody referred them to our business, we have I know everything shows up backwards here, but it's a thank you card. It says, thank you for your referral to our small business. And on the back, I've got 20% off your next service with us with an expiration date, which we handwrite it in. And I also left a little space down here that we can handwrite a note to that client and say, hey, hope to see you soon. Thank you so much for sending Joanne in the other day. We really appreciate that.
That's really great. And where did you get those printed at a local? Do you support a local?
I do
shop?
support local, but this one was not local. This one was Vistaprint. And
they run some great deals. It's hard to beat them.
Well, what was funny was when I was going through their, their pictures of their stuff, like this kind of popped up, and I go, "Oh, I'm going to do a new referral card," and it was they just filled it out.
Yeah, I like it. I like that. I like how you have the. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was just going to say, I like the little section in there where you can personalize it and write a little note.
Yeah. And back to the client intake form, we do have their date of birth on there because we send birthday cards.
Yay!
This is enjoy $10 off your next service with us. This is our number one way of getting people back in. We get a ton of these coming back in from our clients. They love it and they use it.
For a birthday?
For birthdays.
I coached a pretty large spa that was also one of their marketing strategies, and they could not believe how many people would return back in for their birthday,
Yeah, a lot of people, especially as we get older, unfortunately, a lot of people have broken relationships. Whether it's with their spouse, their significant other, their children, their own parents. And a lot of people just don't feel loved anymore. And if you're going to send them a birthday card, this may be the only birthday card they get.
Yeah. So think about that, and just as an example to kind of give what an investment would be for that kind of printing on Vistaprint, like how many did you have made up?
Oh my goodness, we print these by the thousand now. Our client list is at about 1,300 people right now, and so to cover a year, we need 1,300 cards. So if you think about what your client list is, that's how much you need to print for the year.
Right. Well, the good news is if you're printing 1,000 or over, you're getting a much better rate.
Yes. Absolutely.
Okay, awesome. So what about, that falls into your future follow-up. Is there any other future follow-up that you can suggest as far as what about if a person hasn't been in to see you? And so what's your protocol? Is it like, so I used to do like 3 months, if somebody hasn't been in 3 months, 6 months, a year, like, wow, where do you find is your sweet spot for follow-up for your clients that are real responsive to what you send them?
So I actually do not send very specific things to people that have not been into our business. And there's a reason. It's because I send out an e-newsletter about every 2 weeks or twice a month. But I also send a postcard in the mail of our specials every 2 months to our client list.
Okay.
So I mail it out to 1,300 people. Right now, like our last mailing was 1,300. We sent out 1,300 postcards.
Okay. Okay, so there's no other retention. How about phone calling? If
No, I
somebody
don't.
hasn't been in? Nope, you just kind of let them fall away?
Yeah, we're so busy with doing everything else, and everything else works so well for us,
Okay,
um, that
that's
you
good to
know
know.
we don't have to do that. I mean, we're so busy at the spa to do that would be challenging.
Right.
However, if you create a system for it, you can make it work.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not what I do. It's not part of my protocols.
Right. So if you're not busy, I like that step of either pick, if you can't, like, if it's not in your budget to send out mail outs, I think that picking up the phone and placing that phone call if someone hasn't been in to see you to say, hey, I miss you, and, where have you been? And is everything okay?
Yeah.
And, that kind of thing, because that's a much more cost effective, like if postcards aren't in your budget to send, and there's nothing like picking up a phone, picking up the phone and saying hello too, because a lot of people don't do that either.
Right. Nothing is right or wrong. It's just you have to do
Yeah.
something and you have to create your system. If you want to follow up with phone calls or text messages, by all means do that. But we're such a high volume place of business right now. I mean, we've got 1,300 customers, and in a day, on a busy day, we can see 40 people, 40 or 50 people come through our spa. So we can't handle that kind of workload right now. We don't have the
Right.
systems in
Exactly.
place for it.
Right. Right. I love it. Okay. Well, let's see what kind of, hello, Charlotte, Billy, Elizabeth, Monica. Let's see.
I did see Elizabeth's question about do I use Excel to make labels for our postcards? Elizabeth, I don't do that stuff. I pay somebody else to do it. So I actually export my mailing list with Excel to my printer, and they do it all for me. They do all the postage. I literally just send them the content that I want on it. They design it, and then they send it out. And I use a local printer for that. I do not recommend using Vistaprint for that, guys. Use a local
Yeah.
printer.
Okay. Let's see what else we have here. Yeah, sure. You just answered Charlotte's question because she wanted to know the cheapest way to send out postcards. USPS, print off your own stamps, which you can do. Not stamps.com. No, they're going to be a little bit more costly.
Yeah,
Stamps?
I would say if you have a mailing list of under 100 people, do it yourself. But if your mailing list gets above 100 people, find a printer to do it for you. It's cheaper for them to do it for you than it is for you to do it yourself. You'll get a discount postage rate, and they handle all the printing, and time is money.
Yep.
I mean, and for that's just a
Amen.
very timely that is just one thing that takes a lot of time, and it's so much easier to have a printer do it for you. And there's people like the printer that I use is cheaper than Vistaprint, and Vistaprint also has certain codes that if your mailing list doesn't match theirs, they're going to boot a bunch of people off your list. So
Oh,
I tried using them in my list. I had let's just say I had 1,000 people at the time on my list. They could only mail it to 650 people
oh
because
man. Okay.
their system wasn't compatible with my Excel spreadsheet. And I'm like, no, 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 no. So my list is I update it every 2 months, and I give the updated portion of it to my printer, and then they converge the two files. So it's just I spend half an hour of work on it, half an hour of writing out what I want on it, and I send it off. So I spend 1 hour of work and it's all done, other than I have to pay the bill.
You know what? I'm so with you. Delegate that kind of stuff out for sure. And especially if it's going to end up saving you money in the end, I'm all for that. And I like supporting local. I have a local printer, in Hawaii as well that I love to use. All right, let's see. Charlotte wants to know, for the $10 off birthday, do you have a minimum purchase?
No, I do not. My
It's just
cheapest
$10.
Yeah, my cheapest, my least expensive service is a lip wax at $10. And if they came in with this and got a lip wax, I would do it with no charge.
It's
It's
so funny. Yeah, I love that. And I used to do that same thing as well and just give. And you'll have every now and then you'll have a person that comes in and wants to just use just that. And I used to do $15
hmm
gift cards. And, or I'm sorry, 20. It was 20 because I literally had somebody come in and they wanted to use it for a brow wax, which was $15 at the time. And they actually asked me for change. And I was like, well, it's not really a value. And she's like, oh, just keep the rest for your tip. And I was like, okay, thank you. I mean, she ended up coming in for, a facial down the road. So it's all, so there might be a couple of those people that take advantage. That's still like the funniest story to me ever. But it's all how we handle that, as well, because it's still a client that comes in the door that you have a beautiful opportunity to cross market something else to them down the road. And if we make them feel incredible just for that $10 lip wax,
yeah.
you'll be very surprised at what you'll gain from that.
And a $10 lip wax takes you what, 5 minutes to do?
Yeah.
And
Yeah, for sure.
you're building some crazy loyalty with them. It's worth it.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. All right. So let's see. We answered Elizabeth's already. And Charlotte wants to know what's the cheapest way to send out postcards. Did we answer that one already? USPS?
I would say,
yeah, we did.
yeah, the cheapest way is not USPS. It's using your printer and letting them use their account with the post office. Because I think,
Yeah.
what does it cost to send out a postcard right now? 30,
I
30,
don't even.
32, 33 cents. And I think I just looked at my invoice and it was 23 cents a postcard with my printer. I mean, I'm not totally accurate on that, but it was cheaper.
Yeah. So yeah, that's something to definitely look into for sure. And get a couple of bids. I would, you don't necessarily want to go with the first one that you come across, but I would, explore and maybe get 3 different bids from 3 different printers and see what you come up with in your community, in your town. Maxine, she says, when you say haven't been in the spa for a while, how long are you thinking before you reach out? What do you think, Liz?
I would say 3 months.
Yeah, that's my sweet spot too. 3 months is about it. Because, it's like not everybody comes in every month for a treatment. It's like, okay, you skip, 2 months. And then by the 3rd month, I feel like if we wait too long, we don't want them to totally forget about us, right? We want to still be somewhere in the back of their mind, like, hey, that's right. So I think 3 months is that sweet spot.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Karen Sheely says, how much are you paying for the design and mailing?
I pay like my design work's like $50. That's it.
And once it's done, it's done. So you pay that design one time. And then, if you make any amendments to that, they might charge you $10 here or there, right? If you make any amendments, but then, so that design work is set one time and then you're just paying the postage from there.
Yeah, pretty much it cost me about 40 cents for design, printing, and mailing to send out the postcards. So every time I send out 1,300, I'll do the math here for everybody right now. I love math. I'm a total geek. So I sent out 1,300 postcards at about 40 cents. It cost me about $520 with printing. Actually, I think it was a little bit more than that. It was closer to 600 with printing, postage, and everything. So, I think we're close to 50 cents. And I think it fluctuates a little bit depending on how many you're actually having printed. But 50 cents to send out a postcard, and I do it every 2 months. But what I would recommend for people who've never done it before is just do it. Because it is a lot of work until you get your systems in place. Don't try to do it every 2 months. I first did it every 4th month. And then I went to every 3rd month. And then now I do every other month. Because now I've got my systems. I know you did your video on systems before, and I'm big on systems. And now I have my process. It's super easy. I do an hour's worth of work and I send it off to the printers and I'm done.
And that's it. I love it. So Sarah says, is there a minimum for the $10 birthday card? We answer that no, there isn't. So we just give because it's a birthday. And Michelle Fitzpatrick says, do you think it's better to follow up with those clients not in for a while with mail over a phone call? And my take on that is it just depends what's in your budget. I think getting something in the mail is nice. And, Liz and I, we've chatted about this before too, that, sending out direct mail is kind of making a comeback because everyone is just getting inundated with digital stuff. But is it better than a phone call? I don't think one is better over the other, but what do you think, Liz?
Ask yourself this question. How much time do you have?
Good question. Yeah.
I don't have the time to call all my new clients. We probably get 20 new clients in a week. I don't know. I mean, right now, every time I update my mailing list, we're getting about 100 new clients a month. I can't, and even though there's 4 practitioners in my office, we don't have the time to be calling 25 people each.
Right.
I go, we can't do it. We don't have the time.
Right.
So we find that just sending a thank you card, because a lot of times when you call people, you're not even going to get in touch with them. But when you send a letter or a postcard, they're going to open it. They're not going to throw that away.
Yeah, especially if it's handwritten out. I just mailed out over 30 books and I was like, I want to handwrite out all of the envelopes. And I seriously had a new appreciation for Amazon packaging department because I had like a system down. But yeah, I think it's really nice getting something handwritten. Beverly,
and I actually don't handwrite my cards, Maxine. I have one of my staff members do that for me because I don't have time.
Because Liz is so busy. Well, I am still personally handwriting out mine right now. And I like it. But maybe one day, when I aspire to be like you, I'll have someone to write out my cards for me. Oh, gosh. That is so great. All right. So Beverly Marshburn says, just starting out bare bones using manual booking. What online booking software do you recommend?
I use Vagaro.
Several.
And I love it. I've used Vagaro since I've opened. And they've got their glitches just like any other software company, but it has everything that I need and it's very affordable.
Yeah, and if anyone has anything to add to that, because I know there's some new ones out. I was teaching a workshop in Michigan and I forgot the name of it already. And there's just different tiers of different booking systems. I'm a fan of Booker just because of the capabilities and the reporting that you're able to do. But, there's a lot of really good ones out there. And I think that you have to start off with what your budget will allow. And then you can always grow into like your dream booking, online booking system when you reach that capacity or when your budget warrants, that type of investment. So I hope that helps you. But if anybody has,
I was going to say, I think the software is very affordable. I mean, if you go to Vagaro, it's $25 a month for one user. And if you have a link on a website where people can book online in the middle of the night, you've already paid for that. So to me, online scheduling should almost be part of your grand opening investment. Like it just needs to happen.
Yeah.
That's just my 2 cents. It just needs to happen. Make it happen.
Just do it. Okay. All right, everybody, ready, set, go. All right. So Rita, she says, just an FYI, I'm a member of my Chamber of Commerce and I get used to, I'm sorry, she gets to use their bulk emailing stamp for sending out postcards. That's
cool.
Kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Brookley Wood, what is the content in your email newsletters twice a month? Okay, cough it up, Liz. Give us all your secrets.
That is a whole other topic.
I know. That's a whole other live stream.
You know what? I pretty much base my email newsletters off of what I do on my postcard mailers. So I repurpose the information on my emails, my Facebook page, my Instagram account, and also my postcard mailers. So I like keeping it simple. I break it down into 3 categories. A note
Okay.
from Liz, a note from Liz, where I talk about what's going on in the spa, or like I went on vacation to France this summer and I talked about visiting some organic farms over there and how wonderful like the lavender is for the skin. And then the second one is I do a featured service. And usually my featured service can be like a dermaplaning where I explain what it is. And sometimes I have an offer with it, a special offer. I do seasonal facials every 2 months where I buy products from Skin Script. It's real easy. And then once the product is gone, the facial is over. So it creates a sense of urgency. And the third one is I do a featured product where I talk about the product, and I talk about it all through social media, email campaigns, and also on the postcard. So I just repurpose my information from one thing to the next.
Right, right. And basically they're on those touch points, you're just keeping in communication with
Yes.
your list, with your people.
Mm-hmm.
Keeping them in the loop is
Yep.
key.
Yep.
And let's see, Brooke says Acuity is great also. Yeah, I happen to use Acuity for my needs right now. So that is working for me. Corrine says she handwrites hers. Tracy says Maxine's handwritten notes are the best. Aw, thank you. Love you, girl. And let's see. I think that's all the questions. So if anybody has any closing questions, or if anybody has any value to add, go ahead and put in the comments. So just based off of the discussion that we've had today, if there's something that's worked for you in your spa, just talking about client building, it doesn't have to necessarily involve the intake form or the follow-up that Liz kind of covered today. But if there's something that you'd love to share and give to the group, we'd love to hear. So you can go ahead and pop that in the comment as well. And this has been great.
Yeah, it's been awesome. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Tracy. I can see the comments on my screen too.
You can?
Yeah,
Oh, cool.
yeah. They pop up, but then they disappear.
Okay. That's what it is. When Brooke Lee Wood and I normally do our live stream together, she's always manning the controls, and it goes by too fast for me. And 9 times out of 10, I don't have my glasses on, so I'm like, oh, I think there's a little blurb there, But we're super excited that you've joined us live today. We had a lot of interest in this topic for good reason. So I hope you got some really good notes to take from this live stream today and to actually put into action. Because a good idea is only a good idea if we actually put it into motion, is my motto. So thank you, Liz, for giving your valuable time. It's a pleasure to have you in the group, and thank you so much for contributing. And we'll catch everybody else inside the Esthetician Marketing Club.
Yeah, it was great. Thank you, Maxine. You're welcome, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
All right.